WrestleMania 2, I always thought that it could have been better with what they had. It could have been so much better. We can still do it at 3 different venues, but this is episode 3 at 3 different venues. Let's do it. So welcome back to Over the Top Rope Wrestling. Thanks for joining me. This is episode 3. We are now up to WrestleMania 2 on the pay-per-view reboots. We're wrestling, rebooting, and we're doing fantasy booking all over, and we're continuing from the first ever pay-per-view all the way through. So let's show you where we're up to in our storylines. So after the Wrestling Classic pay-per-view, Hulk Hogan was still the world champion. Tito Santana was still the Intercontinental champion. We had new tag team champions, King Kong Bundy and Big John Studd, and we still had our ladies champion Wendy Richter. But we had some title changes in between WrestleMania and the Wrestling Classic because we had a fair few months to muck around with to make some storylines. So let's show you what the changes I made were. Once again, I am having the tag titles change hands. The Killer Bees are going to beat Bundy and Studd. This is going to be 2 weeks before WrestleMania. This title change will happen because Hulk Hogan interferes. Hulk Hogan will interfere because he is going to be fighting one of these guys in the main event. And it's not gonna be Bobby the Brain Heenan, and it's not gonna be King Kong Bundy because we're rebooting this. We're changing it the way it should be. But anyway, new tag team champions because of Hulk Hogan, Killer Bees. Who didn't like the Killer Bees? And another title change that actually did happen. Didn't happen on Saturday night's main event, but it actually did happen. Wendy Richter would lose her women's championship to Velvet McIntyre. Velvet McIntyre would become the new ladies champion because we want to keep that the same at WrestleMania 2 when she takes on Moolah. So we're going to keep this the same, but it's going to be on Saturday night's main event now. We have a new ladies champion. So our champions that go in before WrestleMania as champions, we've got Hulk Hogan as the champ. We've got Intercontinental champ Tito. We've got new tag team champions right here, the Killer Bees. And we've got a new ladies champion, Velvet McIntyre. These are the champs that are going into the pay-per-view of WrestleMania 2. Now I always show you who I take off the card and put onto the card before I show you the card. Now the card, no one is getting taken off the card that is on the original card. But taken off the card is Corporal Krishna, George Wells, Uncle Elmer, and Hoss Funk. These guys do not need one-on-one matches or tag team matches. So these guys are all getting taken off the card, but they're all going to get put into the WrestleMania Battle Royal. We are now starting from WrestleMania 2 onwards. I have decided that there's going to be an annual WrestleMania Battle Royal for the Cup. Just like they do the Andre the Giant Battle Royal now, we're doing a cup. We're doing a cup, and it's going to make history. And they should have done this from the start, the WrestleMania Cup. If you've been watching weekly, you know my rules, and I don't break my rules. Anyone on the WWE roster can be booked. Once an official WWE contract is expired, superstars cannot be booked. So if you're expired a day before WrestleMania 2, you ain't getting booked tonight, buddy. Injured superstars can be booked because a little hamstring don't worry me none, because history's been changed now. Because I've been changing the matches, history's been changed. We're using injured superstars. That's alright. We're having some fun. We're doing some fantasy booking. I'm going to keep it as real as I can though. And let's book pay-per-view smart because storylines will continue to the next pay-per-view. And I think there's a whole year in between the next pay-per-view, which is WrestleMania 3. So we go from WrestleMania 2 to WrestleMania 3. So we'll have injuries, storylines, and a lot to make up in between that, and title changes. Now we've started this epic rivalry. We started this rivalry at Wrestling Classic. They've been going for a good 6 months now. And how could we not have this on the card, the first matchup on the card? What a classic, the Hart Foundation with Jimmy Hart there and the British Bulldogs. This could have been an epic opener to WrestleMania 2. Huge match. I'll have the British Bulldogs going over in this match, but this feud is not finished here. This will keep going. This is just the start of it. So next up we're having Mr. Wonderful take on Andre the Giant. Mr. Wonderful thinks he is the strongest man in the WWF, and he is the man that can beat Andre the Giant. This could be a good 5-minute match, something that everyone will remember. Instead of having Andre in the Battle Royal, we're going to have him having a match, and each WrestleMania, like I said, we're having different big studs take on Andre to try and prove their power, but Mr. Wonderful's no good, mate. No good today. Andre, you got this. Andre's got this easy, building up his undefeated streak and his storyline for future pay-per-views. Now, match 3, King Kong Bundy isn't in the main event anymore. I don't want King Kong Bundy in a cage match against Hulk Hogan. I want King Kong Bundy up against Junkyard Dog, because Junkyard Dog also helped the Killer Bees win when Hulk Hogan was getting attacked the week after. Then Killer Bees and Junkyard Dog came and saved Hogan. So King Kong Bundy wants revenge on Junkyard Dog now in our new Reboot storyline. King Kong Bundy's going to win this one, not with ease, but it's going to be a good match. It's going to get the splash, and King Kong Bundy's going to win this one and go on and maybe be in Big John Studd's corner tonight. Now, like I said, I now have a WrestleMania Cup, a WrestleMania Battle Royal starting from WrestleMania 2. It didn't happen in WrestleMania 1, WrestleMania 2, the Battle Royal. Originally Andre the Giant won this, but we're going to use this WrestleMania Battle Royal as a stepping stone for kind of upcoming bigger superstars to make their name as well. And we're going to have the mighty Hercules in a really strong performance in the Battle Royal, win the first WrestleMania Battle Royal Cup. Who else would you want? We've got Andre in a one-on-one match. We don't want him in the Battle Royal yet. We want to see the mighty Hercules win this one. Get in there, mighty Hercules. Now, on the original card, Macho Man was already Intercontinental Champion, but not in my fantasy world. Tito's held it since last WrestleMania and he has not lost it. He's defended. He won the Wrestling Classic. They've been having a feud the last couple of months. He wants the Intercontinental title. We don't want to see Macho Man versus George the Animal stealing an Intercontinental title match. No one goes back and watches that on WrestleMania on the WWE Network. So this would be an epic, nice match. You can even see this on the WWE Network. They had some good matches. And this would be great. Flying Elbow wins new Intercontinental Champion, Macho Man Randy Savage, and this starts a whole new era of the Intercontinental title. Next match, Adrian Adonis originally fought Uncle Elmer, boring as shit, and Jake the Snake beat George Wells, another boring blockbuster. This is such a better match, and I know they have matches in the future on pay-per-views as well, but why not on WrestleMania 2? This is good. We have to have this match. We have to have Jake the Snake winning. Jake the Snake gets over, throws the snake on Adonis and Jimmy Hart. Like in the past, this needs to be on the card rather than who they fought in the first original card. Match number 7 is no change at all. We're keeping this the same. This is absolutely the same. Velvet McIntyre is dropping the belt to the Moolah. Moolah's going to win this one in no change at all. Really quick match. Ladies Championship and new WWF Ladies World Champion. Ricky Steamboat will then take on Don Morocco. I loved Don Morocco with Mr. Fuji. Was a great pairing. This would be a really good match. Ricky Steamboat showing some great signs since WrestleMania 1. Of course, it'd be a fun match. It'd be a fun filler match, really. And it's a match to show how much talent Steamboat actually has against a big, powerful man. So Steamboat will go over in this one, and this will continue his rise to the top as well in our new storyline book world. In match number 9, now it's kind of the same as the original match, but we're not having no boxing match. We're having Roddy Piper take on Mr. T because he's still pissed off from WrestleMania 1. He wants a wrestling match, a one-on-one wrestling match. Bob Orton's going to help interfere a little bit in this match. He's going to get knocked out, but Roddy Piper's going to get the win. He's going to cheat to win, and it's going to put him back in the main event status of our storyline. Roddy Piper beats Mr. T. This would be a good classic wrestling match. He can do it. He doesn't need to have a boxing match. He can have a wrestling match. Let him fight. So the World Tag Team Championships. This is why I dropped the belts to the Killer Bees, because I wanted the Killer Bees to drop the belts to the Dream Team at WrestleMania 2. So yes, WrestleMania 2, we have the Dream Team win the tag titles. This comes full circle. 1 whole year since they formed. 1 whole year since they formed. Greg Valentine at his first match on WrestleMania 1 loses the Intercontinental title, then helps Beefcake and forms the Dream Team later in the night, and 1 year later win the tag titles. It would be a real good story that comes full circle, and will keep this story going and make it more main eventy. So new tag team champions, the Dream Team. Next up, I chucked this together because I thought, why not? And why wouldn't you want to see a no disqualification match between Terry Funk and George the Animal Steele? We don't want to see him in an Intercontinental title match. We don't want to see him in a tag match. We don't want to see them in anything else but a no DQ match. Now, the winner of this match would be a no contest after about 5-6 minutes, because these two would be brawling all over the place, all over the arena. And once they go backstage, we don't really do cameras back then in WrestleMania 2 backstage, so the ring announcer just calls it off, and they've just beat each other to hell. This can continue a storyline for later down the track. It's also a filler before we get to the main event, but this is also going to be a good brawl with no winner. So I like the idea of this. Fuck it, he can brand him. He can brand him on the forehead as well. George Animal Steele can have a brand now. But there we go. That's good. That's a fucking good match, that one. This should have been the main event. We're building up big guy to big guy to big guy. He's beaten Roddy Piper with the help of Farley at WrestleMania 1. Now he's going to take on Big John Studd. Not King Kong Bundy in a cage match. I don't want a cage involved in this. I want a nice one-on-one match. This would be epic, an epic battle. They've had awesome matches in the past if you go back on the WWE Network. Big John Studd will be holding Hogan. Bundy will come in when the referee's knocked down at the very end. Bundy will run in for the splash so they can splash him. Hogan jumps out of the way. Big John Studd, he gets splashed by Bundy. Bundy rolls out of the ring going, what the hell did I just do? Studd falls down, Studd fucking stumbles. Hogan picks him up, slams him, leg drops him. 1, 2, 3, still the champion. Hulk Hogan is still the champion. Still the champion. Who is going to take the belt off him? Damn, Hogan, you're good. So the champions after WrestleMania 2 are Hulk Hogan. Macho Man Randy Savage is the Intercontinental Champion. New Intercontinental Champion. New Tag Team Champions of the Dream Team. New Ladies Champion is Moolah. They're our champions after WrestleMania 2. Not a bad group of champs right there. So what do you think of the original card compared to my reboot card, as my titles are going to keep continuing and the champions the way they are? But come on, this is a pretty damn good 20-man Battle Royal. We've got a 20-man Battle Royal as well. We've got WrestleMania Battle Royal. Kong Bundy, sorry about that, I've misspelled there, but King Kong Bundy against JYD I enjoyed, and Ricky Steamboat, Don Morocco, Killer Bees against the Dream Team, instead of the Funk Brothers against Junkyard Dog and Tito Santana. We got Tito Santana up against Randy Savage. That's better than Randy Savage against George Steele, or Don Morocco against Paul Orndorff, because they made Paul Orndorff a friggin' babyface now, which is horrible. Corporal Krishna against Nikolai Volkov. No, I'd rather see Terry Funk versus George Steele in a non-disqualification match. Adrian Adonis against Uncle Oma. Yeah, no thank you. I'd rather the British Bulldogs versus the Hart Foundation. It just all writes itself, and the Hart Foundation, the British Bulldog fought the Dream Team in the tag titles, but I'd rather the Killer Bees, because I'd rather the British Bulldogs go up against the Hart Foundation. Hart Foundation in a 20-man Battle Royal, no thanks. Anyway, what do you think? I'm going to leave this up on the screen. Don't forget to subscribe. Next week episode 4 is WrestleMania 3. I'll show you my card that I come up with. And thanks for joining me. Please thumbs up, help the algorithm, and subscribe. And if you enjoy, just keep watching and watch all the other ones before this, and tell me what you think of my card. And if you had any other better matches, what would you have put on the card? Cheers for watching, guys. See you.